It didn't take long for the New Orleans Saints to add another running back after Kendre Miller went down. Moments ago, it was reported that the Saints are signing former Chiefs running back Darrel Williams. Let's talk about the move right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
So earlier this Monday, it was reported by Jordan Schultz that the Saints were going to work out Darrel Williams this Monday, see what he has, if there's any gas left in the tank. And then several hours later, reported first by Nick Underhill of New Orleans.football that Darrel Williams is signing with the New Orleans Saints. So you'll add him to the backfield that currently includes Jamal Williams. And I guess you can say, if you want, going off the first preseason game, you can talk about Ellis Merriweather, who played, I'd say, pretty well, actually, against the Chiefs. Now, the Saints, I don't think this backfield is where it needs to be at the moment. I still think they can use A, another option, or B, hope that a guy like Ellis Merriweather continues to play the way he did last Sunday. But I do think that this is a step in the right direction, adding a guy like Darrel Williams. Now, there's two things to look at. First, I think that there is the limited potential part of it in the sense that when Alvin comes back, it's Alvin's backfield, and then Jamal is the guy right behind him. And I think they're going to be an excellent duo. So for people worried about, okay, is this going to be a player in Darrel Williams who can give them production all season long? I'm not saying he can't, but I don't think he necessarily needs to. That being said, I actually really like the pickup for one reason and one main reason only. I think when you look at Darrel Williams, I know people are going to talk about him being from LSU and talk about what he did with the Chiefs, obviously being a part of a really, really successful run there in Kansas City from 2018 to 2021. When I look at Darrel Williams, I look at the 2021 season numbers and the fact that he had over 40 plus receptions. He had over 400 receiving yards. He also had 550 plus rushing yards. He was a very productive player for them. And I think for New Orleans, as good as Jamal Williams was last year, I don't look at Jamal Williams and think that he is some prolific pass catcher out of the backfield. I think Darrel Williams will help the Saints out in that regard. And that's something that I really wanted them to stress when looking for a running back. And part of this whole thing, too, that I think will play a factor is Darrel Williams, maybe because it's not as big of a name as a Kareem Hunt or an Ezekiel Elliott who just signed with the Patriots, or a Dalvin Cook who's been linked to pretty much the entire AFC East. The Saints, when Alvin comes back, won't really have to worry about stepping on anyone's toes. It's Alvin's show. After that, it's Jamal Williams. And Darrel Williams could potentially prove himself to be a very reliable and viable RB3 if Kendre Miller's out for an extended period of time, which we do not believe is going to be the case at this very moment. So overall, guys, is this the type of signing that takes the Saints to the next level? No. Is it a low risk / no risk with a decent reward type of move? I think it can be. I really do. So I like the idea of bringing in Darrel Williams. I think that there is still some gas left in the tank. And I think while people will be quick to look at his 2022 numbers and be like, well, what the hell happened here? Just remember, in a Kansas City system with Andy Reid, with great quarterback play, I think he did an excellent job. And I think we got to be fair in terms of, all right, he won't be that a player, right? Because he won't have that quarterback and he won't have that coach in New Orleans. But he was in a terrible situation with Arizona last season. And I don't expect him to be that lethargic in terms of putting up great numbers, being a factor in the run game. So I think the Saints did a good job of addressing a need here. I don't think that they're necessarily set at the running back position at the moment. But for 3 weeks, if it turns out to be Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, Taysom Hill, and Darrel Williams being the guys that are handling the carries, all right, I think that can get you by. And I like the idea of adding Darrel Williams because, like I said, he is a proven pass catcher. But overall, guys, I would say this is a fine move. It's not going to break the bank. It's also not going to win you a Super Bowl, but it's not going to hurt you in the long run either. I think Darrel Williams could be a nice player for 1 to 3 weeks in New Orleans. But I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on this move. Do you like Darrel Williams coming back to Louisiana? Are you iffy on the move? Did you want them to pursue another running back? How do you feel about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And if anything else breaks on this week revolving the Saints, you know we'll have it covered for you here right on Boot Crew Media. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page and stay tuned for more content here from the Straight Up Saints podcast.